Today we're taking a look at my desk setup. I did one of these back at the beginning of 2018. We're about halfway through 2019. This is just going to be the desk. I did consider doing the office space, but I might do that as a separate video because actually what you can't see here is actually quite interesting. But anyway, this video is a desk setup tour. Let's get into it. Okay, so starting with the actual desk itself. Now this is a Colby kitchen counter worktop from IKEA. I'm not going to be the first or the last person to use one of these for a desk, but what's nice about it is it's narrow and it's very, very, very long. So it's about 246 centimeters long, and I've got that sat on two Alex drawers that I also got from IKEA. I did a video a couple of years ago, which I'll link down in the description, of how I built this thing. It's all cable managed really carefully with a bunch of cable tacks and a cable tidy I got from IKEA. Very OCD, and it really does improve the aesthetics, the overall aesthetics of the desk, as do the two Philips Hue light strips that I've got mounted. One actually stuck onto the back of the desk itself, and one actually strapped to the back of the three monitors above it. The monitors themselves are wall mounted. All of the cables are chased into the wall, and the main monitor is an X34 Predator from Acer. It's a great monitor. It's good 2 or 3 years old now, but it does ultra wide 3440 by 1440 at 100 hertz. It's got stuff like G-Sync. Really is a phenomenal monitor. Don't really see me upgrading or changing that anytime soon. The two flanking monitors, and I've got that kind of TIE Fighter type setup. They're cheap as chips. 1080p Benk monitors. They don't even have DisplayPort, anything like that. Just basic HDMI. I paid, I think, the £4 extra to make sure that it had HDMI. These are dead handy for anything from coding, reading web pages, all of which are in a portrait orientation, but also really handy for streaming. I can have OBS open in studio mode on the right hand monitor, and I can have the chat windows open on the left hand monitor, whilst I've got the game on the main display in the middle, so that's really handy. For peripherals, I've got Corsair pretty much around the piece. So Corsair RGB keyboard and mouse. The actual models escape me. And just above the keyboard, I've got the Elgato Stream Deck. Actually, that's as handy for just kind of using as a general keypad, just to open programs for general macros and stuff like that. But obviously dead handy for streaming as well. The little animations in there are quite helpful to actually know whether you've got an audio device on, a media source, and. For speakers, we've got the Audio Engine A5 Plus. These speakers have been around forever, but the sound quality is absolutely phenomenal. And because my office is sound treated, we've got bass traps and a whole load of acoustic foam all over the place. I personally think the sound quality is great. Actually, it's almost as good as the sound system I've got in my car, which was an absolute fortune. And these speakers were nowhere near the same cost. So really phenomenal sound quality, and really quite noticeably different from anything that I've had PC based in the past. I've got a kind of mixing desk. This is really old Behringer X1204 USB, and into that I've got plugged an Audio-Technica 2035. Absolutely phenomenal microphone, get really great quality, actually better quality off that microphone in my opinion than the shotgun mic that you can't see just off camera here that I use to record these videos. Absolutely phenomenal. And coupled with that, I've kind of wall mounted kind of a articulating arm that I can attach my Sony A6500 to. I've got a capture card in the PC, and that allows me to use that camera as a webcam, so I can get substantially higher video quality when I'm streaming. It's really, really quite convenient actually as a setup as well. It took ages to set up, but convenient to use on a day-by-day basis. That's supported by two Elgato key lights. These are Wi-Fi connected. You can You can control the kind of the on-off, the brightness and the color temperature all from the Elgato Stream Deck or from the app on your phone. That's dead handy as well. And you'll see that the whole desk is Star Trek themed. I make no apology, I'm a massive Trekkie. We've even got a coaster, a nice kind of wooden engraved Star Trek coaster, a load of model ships, and I think the artwork, I think it's kind of sort of Art Deco type sort of artwork from the original 1960s episodes. I really like those pictures. I spent probably far more money on those than I really should do, but I think it gives the whole build a nice aesthetic. Within easy reach, I've also got card readers mounted underneath the desk. We've got some USB and a DisplayPort 1.4 extension running from the 2080 Ti's in my PC. Now that's all for VR. You can see I've got myself a Rift S, and in my secret drawer down in the bottom, I've got my Oculus Quest, so a bit of a VR nut. The reason I've gone for the DisplayPort 1.4 is that supports the entire range of headsets that are available now, because the Valve Index uses DisplayPort 1.3, and all of the kind of really ultra-wide VR headsets that are available now, they all use DisplayPort 1.4 just because of the refresh rate and the resolution, just the bit rate and the data that's required. So that cable alone cost me about £40, about $40, quite expensive, but given that it's super glued on, I didn't want to faff around with that too much, so having the latest DisplayPort technology available is pretty handy. Amazon Echo Spot, that's handy just for general time, the news. It allows me to control all the hue lighting I've got in the office, because I've also got 6 hue bulbs mounted on the ceiling. That allows me to make this backdrop a little bit more interesting to look at. Lots of different colors. It gives a whole great level of versatility. And the whole thing is powered by, I think, probably the best PC build I've done in my life. Clearly a Skunks Works inspired water-cooled PC for anyone who follows Jay's 2 cents. All within the Case Labs SMA A8, which you can no longer get because unfortunately Case Labs went bust, which is a real travesty because they make some really phenomenal cases. So there's a whistle-stop tour of my desk setup. This really is here for productivity purposes. It's many years of labour. It really is a labour of love, but hopefully you've enjoyed that video. I hope you really will, wherever in the world you are. Please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.